guys, Constance here. Welcome back to A Good Life Farm. So, Ida has arrived here in town, and so we've got lots of rain and all of that. So I felt like today would be an ideal day to make a soup for dinner. I am making good old classic taco soup. And if you've never had taco soup, it's a lot like a chili, but it tastes like tacos. And we top it with some guacamole, some sour cream, some crushed up tortilla chips, and it's just tasty. So I've got a pound of ground beef in my Dutch oven over there. And I'm just dicing up an onion. This takes about a half a cup of onion or so. I'm just gonna chop up a whole small onion, dice it up. Alright, and then I'm just going to toss this into my pot here with the ground beef, and I'm going to let that cook until the onion is tender and the ground beef is browned, and I'll take my my wooden spoon and kind of break apart the meat as it cooks. Alright, you guys, so my ground beef is cooked and my onions are tender. So now I'm going to start adding in the rest of my ingredients. Super easy. I've got 1 can of tomato sauce, just a standard 15-ounce or so can. If you are using home canned tomato sauce, then you would just use a pint. I'm adding in 1 cup of beef broth. I'm adding in 2 cups of whole kernel corn. I'm using frozen corn, but of course, if you've got some fresh, you could use that as well. I suppose you could use a can of canned whole kernel corn that you've drained if you want to go that route. And then I'm going to start adding in my seasonings. So, I've of course got some taco seasoning. This is some homemade taco seasoning, which I have a recipe for this on my website if you would like to make your own. I like making my own because it allows me to control what I'm putting into it. Don't have to put any salt in it, it's just totally flavor. 2 tablespoons of taco seasoning. Then I'm going to add in chili powder, which my opening is little, so I need to use a smaller one here. 1 tablespoon or 3 teaspoons. And then a half a teaspoon of garlic powder. Half a teaspoon of salt. And then about a half a teaspoon of black pepper. I'll stir that all together. Now this soup, this taco soup is very thick. Doesn't have a lot of liquid to it. It's just nice and hearty. So I'm just going to stir this all together. Let that begin to cook. This recipe is also a very quick dish. You don't have to worry about spending a long time over the stove, and so because it comes together so quickly, I mean really the longest part of it is cooking the ground beef. You can make this any night. It's super, super easy. So that's all mixed together. I'm just going to let that simmer for a couple of minutes. And then I have a can of black beans and a can of kidney beans. You can use light kidney beans or dark kidney beans, whichever one you want to use. Standard 15-ounce cans. And I drained them and rinsed them, and I have them over there in my little colander in the sink. So I'll let this simmer together for just a couple minutes, and then I will toss in the beans, let it cook a couple more minutes, and that's it. Alright, so now that my beans are in there, I'm just going to let this cook for a couple more minutes until everything is heated through, and then it'll be ready to eat, just like that. And by the way, if you have a hunter in your family and you have some ground venison stored away, this soup is very flexible. You can make it with ground venison, you can make it with ground turkey, pretty much any kind of meat you want to use would work very well. Alright you guys, so there you have it. That is how you make this super quick and easy taco soup. Nice and thick and hearty. This makes about 4 to 5 servings, just depending upon how big of a serving you like to make or like to serve. I serve this with some sour cream, a little bit of guacamole, some shredded cheese on top, and then I serve it with some tortilla chips as well. You just kind of crunch them on top, or because this is so thick, if you use the kind that are kind of shaped for scooping, you could actually scoop this up and eat it with the chips that way. So this is just a really great meal that the whole family loves. I mean, if you love tacos, you'll love this taco soup. It's got all the flavor, and as you can see, it was super easy to make. As always, I have a printable version of this recipe on my website, and I will put a link to that down below if you would like to print it out. So thanks for joining me here again in the homestead kitchen to cook an easy dinner. I will talk to y'all next time.